Hello, how are you, Tom?
Oh, hi. Very good. How are you doing?
Good, good, thanks. Where are you calling in from?
From Columbia, Maryland.
Oh, wow, okay. I'm right down the street from you. I'm in Silver Spring.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know
yeah,
exactly where that is.
yep. I know Columbia too. Not the most beautiful weather we're having today, huh?
No, it's kind of dreary.
Yeah, yeah. That's always good though. That always makes me get a lot of work done.
Oh, okay.
No temptations to go outside. So are you already a Google Photos user or just thinking about
Yeah,
starting?
I've just recently gotten into it. I've been, taking pictures with my phone and then seeing them show up on my laptop under
Yeah,
Google Photos.
yeah.
That's a really
Okay.
nice feature.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. A lot of other people coming in.
Hello.
Hi,
Oh, Scott. Whoops.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Scott. This is Rochelle Sutts. R. Sutts, Rochelle.
Yeah, Rochelle. Hi, how are you?
Good. You can change my name because
I did that last time, didn't I?
yes, you got to change it.
Okay. And let me make sure I remember. Did I get this right?
Yes, you did.
I remembered. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Rochelle.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
Carol Sue, how are you?
I'm back again.
Yeah, that's great.
You just can call me Miss Pia.
That sounds good to me. And welcome everybody coming in. Give it just one more minute to make sure we get everybody popping in here. And I will let you all know that my colleague John is here. If you're having any tech difficulties or anything like that, just let him know, drop that into the chat and he'll be glad to help you. He will also be assisting me in keeping track of any questions that come into the chat today. Okay. A few more there. Good to see people on camera too. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get us started. Happy to see everybody today and thanks for joining. Do we have anybody taking a Get Set Up class for the first time today? Anybody brand new? No? Okay. All right. Well, good to see all the veterans here. And I'll get us started. I do want to let you know that this class we've been doing for quite a while, but because there are always so many questions with this one, we have broken it up into two parts. So there is a Google Photos Part 2, which will start tomorrow. And that will go into a little more detail about how to manage your photo library and edit photos and things like that. So with that, I will get us started. And is everybody able to see my screen? Great, okay. All right. So just a little bit more about me. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. I'm a former journalist, and in my previous job, I was a communications director and led some website development and social media outreach. So I got pretty familiar with cloud storage and cloud management, things like that. I'm also an avid photographer, so I have quite a few photos backed up on Google Photos. I'm here as a Get Setup guide because I really enjoy the interactive learning. I've made some friends. It's good to see people in many of my classes, and I really love the community building mission. And just a little bit more about Get Setup. We're here to help you learn from people like you. All our guides are older adults. We learn from each other. I appreciate the people who are on camera. I think that really creates a nice community spirit. If you're not too shy and you want to do that, that would be great. If you would like to request a recording of the class, you can email us at help@getsetup.io, and we'll be sure to get that sent to you. If you're joining us by live stream, welcome. Happy to have you watching. I encourage you to, in the future, register for a class, and that way you can join in interactively, talk with the other learners in the class, ask questions directly to the guide. And lastly, Get Setup is not paid to promote any specific products. So this is not meant to be an endorsement of Google or any of its products, but just something educational for you. So in this part one of this two-part class, I guess you would call it, we're going to talk about setting up a Google Photos account. Many of you may have already done that, but we'll also go through your account settings to make sure you've got everything to your liking in the way your photos are being backed up. We'll select a storage plan for your photo collection, or we'll talk about selecting one for your photo collection. And then we'll talk briefly about searching and finding specific photos in your collection, but I'm going to go into much more detail on that in part 2 of the series. If there is anything in particular about Google Photos that you wanted to learn today, please go ahead and drop that in the chat. And I'll let you know if I'm going to have time to address it today or if it'll be in a part 2, but I definitely will let you know one way or the other. And I see, yeah, welcome, Marva. Sorry, I didn't get to acknowledge you, but glad to have you here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Google Photos. Google Photos is, sorry, I'm going all over the place here. Google Photos is part of Google's suite of apps. It's under the umbrella, I believe, Google One. And when you open up a Google browser, especially if you have an account, when you go to this little grid here, you'll see it'll open up all these apps that Google offers. And many of those are in the cloud. Okay, so Google Photos specifically is one of Google's cloud services. So when we're talking about storing things in the cloud, we're talking about having them when we're talking about cloud computing and cloud storage, you can think of it as like a digital storage locker that exists in the cloud or in the sky someplace. And when you back up anything that you've got on your computer or on your phone or any other device. It is basically copied into that digital storage locker so that if you lose your phone or you lose your computer or they break, stolen, whatever, that data is backed up. Those data, I guess, is a
Scott,
grammatically.
I have a question. This is
Sure.
Rochelle.
Yeah.
So I'm on a PC, I'm on a laptop. So it has photos. Is photos the same as Google Photos or is it separate?
That would be separate.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So when you're using Google Photos, though, what it's doing is securely and automatically storing copies of your photos online as backup, so that your photos are safe if you happen to lose your phone or your iPad or whatever, where you've got those photos sitting. You can set it so that they're automatically backed up for you.
Here, I got another question, Scott. This is
Yeah.
Rochelle.
Yeah.
Can you transfer your photos to Google Photos or no?
Well, I'm going to go into that, but the minute you set up an account, it's going to start moving your photos up there already if they're
Okay.
on your phone. Yeah. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I have a
thank you.
question. I have
Yeah.
a question too.
Yes.
How does the icon of the app looks like? Look like? Is it with like a flower with multicolored?
Yeah. It looks somewhat different from, no, it's not that multicolored flower, but it looks very similar. So that's why a lot of people get confused. Here is what it'll look like.
No, I don't have that.
Okay, that is just 4 leaves, I guess you would say.
Okay, thank
So it's slightly different from the iPhone or the iCloud photos or Apple Photos logo or icon. Okay, so when you do get these uploaded or backed up, you're going to be able to look at your photos no matter what device you're using. You just have to have the Google Photos app downloaded to your devices. So if I've got Google Photos on my iPhone and my iPad, so I can just call up my browser on my laptop, look at my Google Photos account there when I go into Google, or I can call up the app on my phone, look at them there, same thing on my iPad. What we'll talk about more in the part 2 of Google Photos is how it identifies objects and events and places in each photo and tags them with keywords. And you're going to find out how that makes it very easy to search for a specific photo you're looking for. And there is also some facial recognition technology that's working in there to group together photos of each individual, walk you through how to leverage that as well to your advantage. And that'll all be in the part 2. Okay. So before I go any further, I know there are a couple of questions. There's one about uploading them to Amazon Photos also. So let me put a little more context on this with Google Photos. Google Photos is one of several options that you have out there for backing up your photos. Amazon also offers a service, and so does the iCloud also does the same thing. You could also use Dropbox, OneDrive, any of those. You can set those to back up what pictures you take. So you can use more than one. I actually use 3 or 4, and that is because I teach classes on all of them. So I want to make sure I at least somewhat familiar with each of them. But if you wanted to have a double backup, you could use both Google Photos and Amazon Photos. Or if you've got an iPhone, you can have them being backed up on the iCloud and on Google. Some of this is going to depend on how many photos you have and how much money you want to spend. So you always have the option of just storing photos on an external hard drive, something that would look like this, but you have to do all your categorizing and sorting and everything yourself, whereas some of these apps will do a lot of that for you. Somebody else was asking, what is a desktop uploader? I'm trying to think if there's anything specific. I mean, when you upload onto something from your desktop, you're uploading it to someplace in the cloud. You want to tell me a little bit more what you were thinking, Claudia? I think you're on mute.
When I open up my photos, I always get a message that says install the desktop uploader to safely back up photos.
Okay, and that's on Google Photos that happens?
Google Photos,
Okay.
yes.
So that probably means it's offering you the option of backing up photos on your computer as well as your smartphone. So if you activate that, it's going to just start taking everything that's sitting on your hard drive in your computer and backing those up as well. So let's talk a little bit about the storage plans, because that is what gets really confusing right now. And part of that is because it's changing in the next couple of 3 months. So right now, Google offers you 15 gigabytes of free storage space once you start uploading your photos. But that applies to all the Google apps that allow cloud backup. So they have other apps like Google Drive, where you can store documents and other things. Your Gmail, if you're backing up your Gmail, that will count toward that 15 gigabytes. Calendars might count toward that 15 gigabytes. Photos and video tend to take up the most space. They're just very data rich and data hungry media, but they all count toward that 15 gigabyte limit. So if you were backing up not much of anything else, 15 gigabytes is probably going to hold for you about, I would say, maybe 5,000 photos. And that may sound like a lot, but you can build up to that pretty quickly. I want to jump ahead here before I go back to these other options. There is also an unlimited free space for high quality photos right now. And when I say high quality, that's Google's term. They're calling it high quality. What that means is you have agreed, if you sign up for that, you have agreed to let Google reduce the size of your photos a bit so that they're not taking up so much room. And if you do that, they will give you unlimited free space right now. So if you say take a photo and your camera or your smartphone takes that photo at 64 megapixels, which is pretty high resolution photo. Google will only, if you are using this high quality option, Google will only back that up at 16 megapixels. So it reduces the size and resolution a bit just to save space, if you're okay with that. Now, I have an iPhone that takes photos at only 12 megapixels. So I don't really have to worry too much about exceeding 16 megapixels anyway. And so I signed up for that unlimited free space. I do have a few photos from my computer I backed up there. They've been reduced in size. But as of June 1st, that option is going away. That unlimited free option ends. And at that point, all new photos, regardless of the quality, will count toward that storage limit, whatever storage limit you're using. So if you're using that free 15 gigabytes, every photo from then on, regardless of the quality, will count toward that. So that high quality option is just going to be obsolete essentially. Any photos you've already got stored on there won't count toward that limit. And after that, you pay, once you reach your limit on that free option, the 15 gigs, $20 a year will get you 100 gigabytes of free space. And that will probably hold about 30,000 photos. And you double that for $40 a year. And if you really need it, you can get 2 terabytes of storage space for about $120 a year, which is kind of steep, but if you have that many photos, you know, you do have that option for backing it up.
Scott, I have a question.
Yes.
This is Pat.
Hi, Pat.
So is it a good idea then, if you don't have the unlimited storage, to go ahead and get it now because it's going to be godfathered in?
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, if you want to just cram as many photos in there now using that unlimited free option, then when that lifts on June 1st, everything you've got in there is grandfathered in and won't count toward that. Yeah.
How do you get that? How do you get the free unlimited service?
I'm going to walk through that in a second when I go through your settings on your phone and how to get that all set up. And there's a little option there, and I'll show you where that is in the settings.
Perfect. And one other question, and maybe you're going to cover this.
Mm-hmm.
Once we run out of the 15 gigabytes, do they notify us that we're at the limit?
They basically tell you you have no room. Yeah, you'll get some kind of notice alerting you to that. I get it both on my desktop and on my phone when I've run out of space. And then they basically will tell you you can get more if you sign up, and you can subscribe to a larger plan, larger storage plan right there on the site.
Can I ask one? Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Diana.
Okay, thanks. I'm on my iPad in my Google Mail account. How do I get to the picture app from there? There are no dots.
So you have to download the app from an app store.
Oh, okay.
So you would want to go to your app store and just look for Google Photos and download that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. And then Ellen, and then Kira has a question, I think, too.
Sorry. So I should know the answer to this, but I don't. When every time I lose a phone and I replace it, my pictures and everything are on the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So once you show us how to do this setting or how to put some photos, let's say, I usually use a lot of my photos from my phone. Is it going to be the same thing? In other words, I download the pictures that I have in the cloud, or I could also download some photos from Google Photos? It's or two different things.
So I think they might be two different things.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, when you sign up for Google Photos and your photos all get backed up, and then say you don't take any more pictures for say a week before you buy your new phone. Well, even then, I don't know if there's any time difference. The minute you buy a new phone, and sometimes you can transfer all your apps that you have are in the cloud too, say with Apple, if you've got an iPhone, and those will just download to your new phone. I just upgraded a couple 3 months ago, and I just set the two phones side by side, and my old phone transferred all of my apps over to the new phone. But once that happens, I can access my Google Photos, all my photos stored on Google Photos once again.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
So does that
So-
also happen if you have an Android?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 And that's the one thing that's nice about this too. It's very device agnostic. Google Photos operates, as does Amazon Photos. They'll operate no matter what type of device you have, whether it's a Android device or an Apple device.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question, Scott.
Sure.
So if I put these in a photo Google and I get a new PC, will it, once I put in my Google account, will everything just automatically transfer over?
Yeah, it's not even a transfer, actually. It's just already there.
Oh.
It's sort of like the equivalent of say you live in a house and you've got a lot of extra stuff and you put it in a storage garage someplace, one of those storage facilities, and then you move. That storage facility doesn't move. All your stuff is still there in that, even though you've relocated. So think of going from one computer to another as moving to a new house. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. That's good, because sometimes I'm not good with analogies. So I just wanted to make sure, but.
I have another question.
Uh-huh.
So I have Apple devices, a Mac and an iPad and an iPhone. And there's a photo app with that multicolored flowers.
Right.
Where
Right.
all my photos are. So do they get transferred to Google Photos, or do I need automatically?
They don't really get transferred. They just would also be backed up to Google Photos in addition to what you have.
So they will be in there, basically.
Yeah.
So they will be in two different apps.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So, well, I'm going backwards here. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about getting set up. What you want to do is, if you don't have a Google account, I would imagine most people do, but Google's kind of developed a big following with Gmail, and that sets you up with an account. So you sign up for an account, and you do not have to have a Gmail account to do that. You can just go to Google and sign up if you have a Yahoo email or Outlook or something like that. Once you do that, you want to make sure you download the Google Photos mobile app to your smart device or devices. And then once you do that, you activate it to back up and sync on the app to have it automatically back up your photos. So I'm going to walk through what that looks like. I'm just going to open this up. Okay. So when you download the app, mine's already downloaded and the settings are there, but here, Diana, you'll see is what I think we're thinking of, right? That is the Apple Photos app, or what will come with it's Apple's own proprietary photo program. If you go over here is Google Photos. So you can kind of see the difference.
Okay.
Here, it's sort of like looks like a daisy or something, and this looks more like a clover, something like that.
So could I delete the photos then from the other app, from the old app, in theory?
Yeah, once you back them up on Google Photos, you could.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
So I'm going to open this up, and you'll see down here that, or not down here, up here, up in the corner, this is, and it's already backing up some of my photos, but you'll see up here that there is my initial. That is how I get into my settings. And I'm going to go into my account where it says photo settings, and I have it set to back up and sync. So all you do when you go into backup and sync is make sure this is turned on. You just move it over to the right. And your photos are going to start backing up. Now, I would not delete my photos until then, Diana, because if you're using an iPhone and you delete them from, you want to make sure everything you want backed up is in that Google, because on the iCloud, that's a quirky thing with the iCloud. If you delete it on your phone, it'll disappear from the iCloud too. So that's a whole nother story and a whole nother class. But so the other thing that I do, if you go down here, you can activate group similar faces. And this will become clearer when we go into part 2 tomorrow. But I have this turned on for face grouping, and I've also set it up to even group faces of pets. So when you go into your photos account, you're going to see that interface that shows you each face that appears repeatedly in your photo collection. And that would include, say, a face of a dog or a cat that appears frequently in there. So there are 3 family dogs on mine, and they have 3 different little rooms, so to speak, or I don't know how you would analogize that, but they each have their own little hub where all their pictures are sitting for me to look at.
Excuse me, I have a question. I'm Susana.
Hi, Susanna. Yeah.
Thank you. This is the first time that I'm going to use this phone, okay?
Okay.
I used to have the small one. And now I am on backup and S, Y, and Z. And there is a blue dark button. It means it's on.
It's saying new,
Yeah, but
new dark bottom.
yeah, it's a blue. It means it's activated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so. What kind of phone is it?
Oh, what kind of phone? I don't know even what kind of phone it is. I'm just new in this.
Okay, it's, you know, if it's an iPhone or another type.
It's a phone.
Okay. Well, I would imagine if you're able to, are you able to make calls on it and connect to the internet on it and everything?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then it should be working fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It may say on the back of the phone what kind it is.
Yeah. And you can go into your settings too to find that out.
I have
Wiko, W-I-K-O, Wiko.
W-I-K-O. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that phone, unfortunately. Sorry. Yeah.
But anyway, it's activated.
But it looks like, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there was another question, I think, from, sorry about that.
I was
forgot
just
who.
saying-
Oh, Kira. Okay.
I was just saying, I looked at my phone and I have a blue button, and the blue button is like your white button. It is showing that it's on.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Splash
Oh,
water.
excuse me. It means the white button means that is activated? Because here it shows that a white button.
You mean up here?
No. On backup and sync.
Oh, on backup and sync. All right. So if you go to backup and sync,
Please.
yeah. So you just want that white button to be pushed over to the right.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see
Okay.
the
Then
blue.
it's not activated, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
But that doesn't move. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
you know, I'm sorry. Now the white button is on the left side.
The okay.
White is on the left now.
Okay, so you want to move it over to the right to have it back up in sync. So you just put your finger on it, on that white button.
Yeah,
and
I
move
did.
it right.
I did, but it's not clear now. It's black. And when I am on with the blue, it's It's a color, but now it's black. It means it's not activated.
Okay, if I move this direction, it should be just sort of clear. If I move it this direction, it might be black on your phone. It's blue on mine, but if you move it over to the right, it would be it should be backing up and syncing. And yeah,
Okay.
Kira, you had a question?
On my phone, the dot is blue
Okay,
when it's turned on,
okay,
the
okay,
way she's describing it.
okay, great. So it sounds like it is on then, Susanna. Okay. All right. So there's another question about whether it's possible to transfer or upload photos from Picasa, which is no longer supported by Google. I have to confess that I am not real familiar with Picasa. And I would imagine that if, yeah, I can't remember if Picasa is something that sits on your desktop to store your photos or not. But Marty, maybe you can tell me a little bit more about where your photos are now that you want to transfer or upload.
Good afternoon. It's actually there's the raw file is on the computer hard drive or on the laptop, and then there's Google or Picasa was an older version of Google Photos that's now available, and I guess it was stored in their cloud, so to speak, before cloud was a cloud.
Okay.
And it was allowed you to reformat the photo and save a copy or whatever, and
Right.
so different things. And then it also had facial recognition and all that good
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. I would imagine if it's a Google product that they probably would try to make that pretty seamless for you. I can't swear to that since I never used Picasa. I just started when it became Google Photos. But at the very least, you could just download everything from Picasa and then upload it to Google Photos. But I would imagine it may be a seamless process since they're the same company. What you get where it gets to be problematic is when you are trying to transfer photos from, say, Amazon to Google Photos. And because they're competitors, they don't really make that easy. You would have to download all your photos to your computer and then upload them to the new cloud service that you're using.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that is backup and sync. And once you're done with that, I'm going to go to my desktop just because it's easier to see for everybody. Let me.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have another question. How do I say that? Is the iCloud a different thing from the place where the Google Photos are stored?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
Yes. The iCloud and Google Photos are two separate cloud services.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So once I open this up, I am going to come in here, and you remember I mentioned before, I've got this little series of dots here, or a grid. I don't know what you want to call it, but this is where you find all the Google apps. So I open that up, and there is my Google Drive. If I wanted to open that up, I've got some things there. Anything I'm saving on my calendar, that all exists in the cloud. I'm going to go to Photos. And I was experimenting, so that's why I'm taking pictures of water glasses. But these are all the photos that I've had backed up over the last several days. And as I go down, it's all in reverse chronological order. And this is where your library sits. So all the photos have been backed up here. Now, any of these that are sitting on my phone, if I want to delete them, I can, and I'm not going to lose them. They will stay here. So that's also great if I, some of these photos I do not want to lose. And if I lose my phone or I break it or something like that, I have the peace of mind of knowing that the photos are still backed up somewhere so I don't lose those.
So once you delete the photo from here, it's never actually deleted. It still appears.
It would appear in your Google Photos account, but it would not technically be sitting on your phone anymore.
So it would not take up space. That's the idea.
Right.
Okay.
So, and Mary, that's a good point. That's the other benefit of this. If you're really worried about hitting a ceiling on the memory on your phone, some phones may not have that much memory, and photos and video take up a lot of space. So if you want to back these up in the cloud, then you can delete them from your phone, and you'll keep them, but they just won't be taking up so much space on your phone.
Another question. The Google Drive, I took a class in that yesterday. And it seems that Google Drive and Google Photos have the same pictures, or some of the same pictures. The only thing I find with Photos is it seems to have more of the pictures, and they're grouped in different categories according to where I was at the time I took the picture. And then they recognize, the facial recognition is done. So I have some pictures of those particular individuals. Is that the main difference between Photos and Drive?
Yeah. Drive will not really do any of that organization for you.
You have to do it yourself.
That's where you're doing, and Drive is where a lot of people back up documents and things like that. So I have a lot of different things that I've backed up there, but I've had to do all that sorting myself. I've created folders on Google Drive, put things in there. Whereas here, I just let it back up, and that's pretty much it.
And even with the Droid, if I get a new phone, say I go from the Android to an iPhone, I guess, it will still transfer everything because the iPhone has Google.
As long as you have the app on your phone, whatever new phone you get, if you've got that app on there and make sure it's connected to your account and it's backing up and syncing, everything is going to still be on your cloud account, and will still be getting backed up to your account on the new phone.
But I have to make sure that on the new phone, I do have Google and that it's set to sync.
Yeah.
That's not an automatic thing with new phones.
It's not an automatic if you're sticking with your same carrier, and maybe the same phone, you're staying within the Android world when you transfer over. And maybe even with I don't know how, there are some incompatibility issues sometimes with some apps that there are some Android apps that are exclusive to Android and will not work on an iPhone, but I don't know how many of those there are. But if you go to your carrier and you buy a new phone, they a lot of times will do all the transferring of the data over to your new phone for you. And that way you would not have to worry about downloading the app again and connecting it to your account, putting in your username and password and all that. Say the Verizon store, if you're a Verizon customer, or AT&T, if you're an AT&T customer, a lot of times they will do that for you.
I noticed that my husband has an iPhone and his phone is is different from mine. After
Yeah.
I took the Google Drive class yesterday, and I was showing him on my phone, and we did try to do it on his phone, but his phone is a little different as far as the Drive is concerned, and he
Yeah.
does not have Google.
Okay. Okay. So if he has an iPhone, he can download Google though and use it there. The Photos app. So
He's not into that sort of stuff.
but he's not
That's
into
it.
okay.
No,
Yeah.
and since I like to always hit buttons to see what things do and try it out, he won't let me handle his phone.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because it sounds like my household. Yeah, I'm the one that wants to try out every gadget and everything like that. And my wife she is not interested in the least. So.
No, and I better not touch his either.
What if you share photos with a family member? I started to try to delete a photo my son sent me, and it said it will be removed from the Google account and synced devices. So it would take it off of his phone too?
I think what that's saying, okay, so let me backtrack on that again, make sure I give you the right answer. So you sent him the photo?
No, he sent me the photo.
Okay. And then once you got that, what did you do with it?
I'm trying to delete it. I mean, he sends me all his photos, and so many photos aren't good because he might take 20 photos and there's only 2 good ones.
Yeah. So you're trying to delete it if, depending on where it is, what kind of phone do you have, Lil? Are you using an iPhone?
iPhone, yeah, and he has an iPhone too.
Okay. So if you're only backing up into the iCloud on your phone, that's where, yeah, if you delete it from your phone, it'll delete it from your iCloud account too. That's why I don't really rely on the iCloud, because it's too much of a pain in the neck to try to manage that. There are ways to do that, and I do teach a class on using the iCloud to back up your photos, but with Google, you don't have any of those issues.
Well,
if you download that app and set it to automatically back up everything will back up there, and then you can delete it from your phone without losing it.
I'm in the Google Photos app trying to delete one of his pictures, and it told me it's going to remove it from synced devices. So I thought it might remove it from him too.
I don't think it would do his. I think it would just remove it from any of the other devices that you're using that are synced. So if you've got Google Photos on both an iPhone and say an iPad, it would just delete it it's deleting it from your account. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have some things on my gallery, and I tried to delete it, specifically the screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the same thing. This image will be deleted from all synced devices, and the copy in Samsung Cloud will be moved to the trash. But it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. So that's interesting. So one thing to keep in mind, if say you are on your, okay, I'm not sure if this is the right answer for you, but if you are on your computer and you delete a photo from there on your Google Photos account, if I go to Google here on my desktop and I delete a photo, it's going to end up back in here eventually, because if it's still sitting on my phone, the backup and sync is going to pick that up again and put it back onto my photo library here in the Google Photos account. So
I'll never be able to get rid of it.
Well, if you delete it from your phone, you will.
I tried to delete it from my phone. I went to galleries to try to delete it.
Okay.
And it said what I had read off. And then when I go back to gallery, it's still there.
Okay. So when you say gallery, is this
the photo gallery?
Okay.
Now,
Oh, what
photograph,
I'm sort of like what I have here, right?
yeah, all the pictures that I took, they're in my gallery,
Okay.
not in Google Photos
Oh, they're in your okay. They're in your regular photo gallery on your device.
on my phone, right?
Okay. Okay. So, and you're trying to delete them directly from there.
Right.
Okay.
So do I need to go to Google Photos to delete it?
You would need to delete it from Google Photos too. Yeah, because it was backed up originally, it's staying there, even if you delete it from your gallery on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Scott,
And there was a, okay, Ken, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Speaking of deleting, on the doing it on the computer, is there any way to disable the confirmation? Are you sure you want to delete this? Which, if you're going through 100 photos, is really annoying.
I don't know that there is. If there is, I don't know how to do it. One thing you can do though, if you're trying to delete photos one by one, I think you're able to do a mass deletion if you want, Ken. So say that I want to delete all of these photos here. I just downloaded these for demos anyway. I could kind of just hit shift and whoa, no. That's not what I want to do. What I can do is hit the date. And every photo that is on that date will be here. And I can just keep going down here and deleting until I'm ready to, I want to keep that. So if I say I had just a series of photos like this that I want to get rid of, I just check the date here at the top. I have them all here and I click delete up here in the corner and they all go to the trash. So there is a way to just do kind of a mass deletion. Even if you do get that warning, you'll only get it one time and you get rid of all the photos you're trying to get rid of.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
and
I
yes,
have a
Pat.
question.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Just ready to call on you.
So on my phone, under Google Photos, all my photos appear.
Uh-huh.
So not a problem. However, on my laptop, they aren't there. And what it says is ready to add some photos. So it's basically blank with a graphic in the middle. And none of my photos are there. And then it asks me if I'm ready to add some photos.
So when did you first start backing up your photos?
Oh, I don't know.
A long time ago on Google. So you've been using Google Photos for a while?
I don't know, maybe a year.
Okay. I guess the only thing I can think of is you might want to make sure that you've got that backup and sync turned on your device, your smartphone, to make sure that they're going into the cloud.
But the pictures appear.
Yeah.
On my smartphone. Under Google Photos.
Under Google Photos.
On my phone,
okay.
But not on my laptop.
Okay. Do you have more than one Google account?
Or
like more than one Gmail account?
Yes, I do.
So that may be where you're running into that problem. You could have set those to be backing up on a different Google account.
Oh.
So they're backing up. It's just that when you go to your desktop and open up Google, you're probably on a different account than what your photos are being backed on.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 Gmail accounts And so I have to watch that too, because sometimes I'll go into one trying to dig up a photo and realize I'm in the wrong account. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sorry. How would I know in which account I am? Would it tell me that I'm in a different account or?
So if you go up here to your Google account, I open that up, and here are all, I've got 4 Google accounts now,
Yeah, I
including
have
one
2,
for
yes.
Get Set Up. So I would just click there and I'll get a drop down box that will show me all of my Google accounts.
So then I would click on that account that I want to use.
Yeah.
To back up.
Right. So I could, here, I'll just show you, I'll switch over to this. And I've got a completely different group of photos here that I backed up. And I can go back to the other one and back to where I was again. So,
Scott, I have a question.
Can
you combine them all into one account or no?
Yeah, I think theoretically you could just
Well, I was asking because I was listening to Pat, and to me, well, I'm not real that you know how to do all that. But I mean, would it be easier if you just put them in one Google account unless you're doing massive pictures? Since you've got 15 megabytes or no?
Yeah, it would be easier to do that. And if you're backing them up on, say you want everything backed up into one Google account, you just set it on your phone so that every picture you take on the phone is going to go into that one account.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I could on my phone switch it to back up to a different Google photo account or a Google account in general, and all the photos I have on my phone will just go to that account instead. So you can end up grouping all your photos together into that one account. Not everybody will back up all of their photos into separate accounts like I'm doing, but you know, I have them for different purposes. I have one because I do a little bit of freelance photography, and I use that account to share the photos with clients. And this one is just my own personal library. So,
well, will that, if with the separate Google accounts, will that give you more more time, more megabytes, or no?
Yeah,
because you got
it will. It will. I mean, that's a way to cheat the system a little bit, but yeah, it will.
But I didn't know. I'm just asking.
No, I'm kind of laughing because I'm probably giving away. Yeah. Yeah, technically, it would read it as a whole different account with a whole different set of limits and things like that. So yeah, if you've got more than one account, you could have some photos in one and some photos in another, and say stay within a limit on each of those.
Oh, okay. So like if I got family pictures in one and outdoor pictures in another, that's 2 separate accounts then, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So Scott, just a quickie, I did switch to my other account.
They were there. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
How do you save if you have the same pictures that you've taken in one day, family and outdoors? How do you make them go to 2 different accounts?
That you have to do a little bit more manually if you want, say, outdoor photos in one and indoor photos in another. The other thing to do would be, yeah, that would have to be more of a manual process. So you probably want to turn off the backup and sync a little bit for just a little bit to separate those out. Okay, so that gets us through. And just to summarize, you can set up your Google Photos to automatically back up your pictures sitting on your smartphone or tablet. You can view your Google Photos library and on any mobile device in which you have the app. I need to correct that typo. And you can drag and drop photos, which I didn't show you, but you can drag and drop photos on your desktop computer into your Google Photos account as well. So anything you have there, you can also put in there. So in part 2, we'll talk more about how everything is sorted for you and how to search for photos really easily without having to worry about tagging them or anything like that. And also the facial recognition. So just to let you know about some related classes coming up, we have a class on Gmail basics. That's just another Google app. And also an introduction to all the Google apps, if you want to get a taste for what else is out there. And then an introduction to Instagram, if you're wanting to share your photos with other people. My next classes, I have one coming up tonight at 7 Eastern on nature photography. This is part of a bundle of nature photography classes we have. And this one focuses on flowers and other close-ups, which could include things like small insects and so forth. And I've got one on creating photo books online if you're interested in creating a hardcover or softcover photo book containing your photos. And then Google Photos Part 2, which is tomorrow as well.
At what time do you know offhand?
Let me check.
Well, I'm on the West Coast, but it's 8 o'clock my time.
Okay, yeah, it's 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah.
I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and it's 10 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so you'll be getting these class notes, and when you get those, there'll also be an option if you want to pass on this class to a friend who you think might benefit from it. You can share that on Facebook, or you can just email them directly from here. You'll also get a few other class suggestions and a link here to view the entire schedule. And you'll be able to click here to give some feedback, both rating the class and also adding any comments about what you liked about the class, what you didn't. And then we'll also go into, or you can also go into making suggestions about any classes you would like to see us offer. We're always looking for suggestions from you, so we're bringing you some material that you'd like to experience. You also, when you register for a class, you can invite a friend. You just click here, and that will take you to an option to either share it by Facebook, WhatsApp, or by email to say, hey, I'm taking this course. Maybe you want to take it with me.
Now, if we do that, we're going into our personal settings, so you would not be able to access that email address.
No.
Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And lastly, if you would like to host an interest group on Get Set Up, we do offer that option to you. If you want to get together with other people to talk about a shared hobby or a shared interest, let us know about that and we'll get that rolling for you. You can suggest a new class by email, not just on that form. And if you are in an organization that you think might be interested in partnering with us to create class packages and so forth for members of that organization. And if you want to request a recording of this session, all of that can be done just by emailing us at help@getsetup.io.
Scott, I have a question. Are you gonna be rerunning that class on the flower and the close-ups? Only because I can't skip out of a stupid taking a board meeting because I skipped out on too many of them before. So
Yeah.
nothing ever gets done, you know, but thank goodness for Zoom because I can take and be doing other things while I'm sitting in that board meeting. It's sort of like attending, you know, the sitcom Maud when she used to put down the phone and every once in a while say, That's a board meeting. So the thing is, I can't skip out on this one. So you think you'll be running it soon again?
Yeah, in fact, next week, I believe. So,
All
yeah.
right, I'll skip out on something else.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks, Carol Sue.
Is that the nature photography class?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
interested in that too.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yes, Scott, I'm a handful. You didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, you're one of my favorite handfuls, though. I love having you in my classes. So, yeah. So, thank you very much, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you in part 2 tomorrow. And have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. See you
Okay.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.